Welcome back to Ozarks Fox AM. We're thrilled to welcome our friend Sean Paul with a whole lot of spookiness to tell us about today.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning. Okay, so I had planned on doing something different today, but then news stories come up, and I found one, and then I went down the rabbit or the porthole. Right?
Oh, I love it.
Yes, and I found a whole. Let me ask you this, Captain Jeremy. You're the captain of the U.S. Ozarks Fox AM yacht, and we're all at sea, and we see a ship on the horizon, and you ask, you try and hail them on the radio. No response. It gets closer. No response. Maybe First Mate Kelly takes a look with her binoculars or a telescope. No visible signs of life on the ship. How would you proceed, Captain?
I would say, finders, keepers, losers, weepers. It's my ship now.
Well,
No, he would say, Kelly, get off on the ship and see if there's anybody there.
right, he'd dispatch you.
That's right.
Yeah, you'd send somebody else in to go exploring, right?
Would you?
I would.
Yeah.
But you know what? Your initial reaction is what a lot of sailors think. That's their mentality because they want salvage rights. If they encounter a ghost ship, okay?
well, look at that.
Now I have 5 different stories here, and they're all very different, but they all have the same outcome, and it's a floating, lifeless derelict, and they all have stories.
Okay.
So we are counting down the 5 most mysterious ghost ships that I could find stories on. And spoiler alert, the number one, the last one, is not so much a ship as it is a fleet of ghost ships.
Okay.
How's that for baiting them?
Yeah.
Right? All right. So one of the most famous ghost ships of all time was the Mary Celeste. And she comes out of 1872. In fact, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes book, wrote a story about this. He's been in the X-Files and a lot of other shows. A very famous one, all right? Basically, it's a ship that was taking a shipment of denaturalized alcohol. And big shipment, right? And a Canadian captain, like you just said, found it adrift in the Atlantic Ocean. No sign of the captain or his wife or their baby or the crew. None of them were there.
Weird.
Yet the crew, the cargo was still all intact. So it's not like piracy where they looted the ship. It's like the crew and the captain and the family, they all just vanished. Now there was no lifeboat, so they could have just very civilly, I mean, the captain's personal belongings and everything were still there. Food still in the galley and everything. So what happened? They have 3 theories. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first theory is that the denaturalized alcohol, there were fumes, and they wanted to get away from it. So what they were going to do is get themselves into the lifeboat and trail behind it until the fumes cleared, and then they were going to get back on, and then the rope broke.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Can you imagine? You just watch your ship just sailing away, and there you are. That's kind of
Very plausible, though.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's actually another one would be a water spout. Do you know what these are? They're like ocean tornadoes that shoot up out of the water, and that's a theory, is that it just kind of blasted everybody off the ship. That's not as plausible as the last one. And the last one would be, next slide, aliens.
Oh, what?
I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't
You were
either.
not expecting
No, I
that, not
wasn't.
from me.
Not from you.
No,
That's
no
rare.
Journal segment is complete without a reference
Yeah.
to aliens. Am I right?
Right.
I'm kidding. I don't buy that. I think the lifeboat is probably, the rope breaking is the most plausible
I would
theory,
think so,
but-
too.
All right, so that is the 5th one. Number 4, next one, cause number 2. This is a yacht. This would be what I'd see you commandeering right over
Yes.
here. Yes, that would be.
I will take this
That's
one.
Jeremy Rabe material right
Yes.
there. Okay, off the coast of Australia, fairly recently in April of 2007. 3 men were on board. Helicopter came by. They saw no visible signs of life, so they went down. They checked it out. Food was on the table. Everything was still in place. There was a laptop still powered up. Gas in the engines. It was just going along. Nobody there.
You know, there's a lot of sharks in Australia. Maybe they went for a swim.
And they were very close to the Great Barrier Reef.
I'm just saying.
She's just saying. So the sharks jumped on board, cleared the decks.
Oh, they went for a swim.
Oh, they went for a swim.
Yeah.
All of them, and they died.
I think you just solved the case there, Kelly.
I think I may have.
I had pirates, and then the other theory was one man fell over, and the other 2 actually fell in trying to save him.
Oh, that could've
but
happened.
the life jackets were still there, and there was still a small boat, so maybe it was the sharks.
And then the sharks got all of them. Yep.
Yep.
That could
Or
happen.
an octopus.
Case closed,
I know.
right?
You
Detective
should've-
Smith.
You should have called me.
All right, what's next, Jean Paul?
Okay.
Bechimo! An Alaskan, really? Okay, I got to blast through this. Here's the next one, the Bachimo. Oh yeah, this is the crew that disappeared.
I'm
next,
so sorry, fellas.
We got to move on. Though.
Rest in
All right.
peace.
This is the Bachimo. Is kind of an Alaskan legend. All right, and this was back in the 30s. Got locked up in the ice. Next slide. What does that look like when the Bachimo gets trapped in the ice? And so the captains, they went ashore, or no, they just crawled onto the ice, made a little base camp, and then there was a blizzard. When they came back, their boat had broken free and dislodged itself and was gone. And they thought that it had sank. But the Eskimos, the Inuit Indians, said that they saw it, reported seeing it over a course of 30 years. It became this Alaskan legend. Some people actually caught up with it and boarded it, but they weren't able to salvage it. So that's an Alaskan legend. Number two. I want to set this up by watching a video. All right?
So this
Do we have the video ready?
Okay.
Okay, this is
Last month, I was out in the middle of the strait when I came across this.
Congratulations. You found a boat in the middle of the ocean.
What do you think a ship like this could be worth? Depends on if we have the right to salvage it. I do know one thing. Sea gives you an opportunity, you take it.
Yo, Murph, I think you should get up here.
It's an ocean liner.
It's the Antonia Graza.
Any sign of what might have happened?
Nothing. No passengers. No crew. No captain. No mention of anything in the ship's log. What do you make of that?
A ghost ship.
Is this based on a true story?
No.
Oh.
You know what? That movie was made a year before this ship was built. The Sam and Taguli. It was from Indonesia. All right. And after 9 years of sailing around the ocean, just disappeared. Disappeared. Wasn't seen for 9 years, and when they finally found it, it just last year drifted ashore in Myanmar, and completely empty. They found a couple of tow lines. Somebody tried to do exactly that: tow it to shore and take it to a salvage yard.
Wow.
Okay, last one. Last
Yes,
one.
last
The
one.
fleets. Let's go to the last one.
Okay.
All right, we got another slide to go through, but we want to see North Korean fishing boats. This is the story that actually inspired me to do this. Every year, dozens of these poor boats are washing ashore in Japan.
They look scary.
And you know what? There are people on board, but they're dead.
Oh,
The poor North Koreans, and a lot of times they've been on there so long, it's their skeletal remains. You want to talk about a real ghost ship?
Yeah.
Two different scenarios. One is that they're people defecting and they're just trying to break out
right.
of communist
Trying to
North
get out of there.
Korea, right?
Yeah.
But then the other one, let's see the villain behind this, all right? The one that's pushing these fishermen to overfish the waters.
Is that Kim Jong-un?
Yes, it
There's
is.
your villain right there. There's much more pressure on these fishermen to go further out, deeper, to get the ship. They're overfishing the waters. It's becoming more and more difficult to please this guy.
Yeah.
And there you have it.
And it doesn't
And
look
it's
like he's
dangerous.
running out of food.
Yeah, and it's dangerous out there. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, you had fish today, didn't you?
I did. It
Yeah,
was
we
pretty
did.
good.
So it's all
John
coming
Paul,
full
that is
circle. Do you see
way
that?
intriguing.
That was fun.
and I'm scared.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, don't go
IntrigueJournal.com.
anywhere.
IntrigueJournal.com.
We'll be back to wrap things up right after this.